why this was the right place for you at this time, and sort of what you hope to bring here in terms of maybe an offensive system and working with Coach McClain?
Well, obviously, I think South Carolina is a great opportunity to win at a high level. And anytime you can get into a place like that as a football coach, I think that's a great opportunity. And especially when you get in on the front end of an opportunity, going in when the new head coach is hired, that's always very attractive. This part of the country has always been exciting to me. So my wife is from North Carolina. I'm kind of from Texas, Oklahoma, but I've been in the Southeast for a long time. This is my sixth SEC school that I've been a part of, and I've always been envious of the cars driving around with the palmetto tree on the back, and I've always wanted to be able to put one of those on my car. So I'm excited about living here and just being a part of that. And offensively, it really gets down to a simple process. Our responsibility is to score more points than the opponent. I think anytime you can create one-on-one tackles in space as much as you can, that's going to equal more yards, which can equal more explosive plays and hopefully score more. So we're going to play in space. We're going to play with tempo, but we don't want to lose a physical mentality. We want to be a tough team. We want to be a team that when the game's over, the team knows we played them and we were there. So we want to be a physical team that plays with some tempo.
Will what you do here be consistent with what you've done at other places, or will it be at all different?
That's going to be our base. I think you always grow as a coach, or at least I think you better grow as a coach, or people catch up to you. So we're not going to be identical to what we did at Duke University or Florida University, but we're going to have a lot of those similar characteristics. I mean, we know what we know, and so our offense is going to be built around that. But I do think we grow, and I do think you'll see some things that are added. And being in the NFL for a year was a great experience. It was a great learning experience, a great deal of good coaches and good people, and hopefully we can incorporate some of that.
So, Kurt, how do you explain what your system is and what it emphasizes?
So simply this, the first thing that we want to find out is what our quarterback is capable of doing, what our 5 offensive linemen are capable of doing, and then we want to find out who is capable of making a play with the football. And that's where we want to develop from there. So it's really going to be dependent on people. But in saying that, we do want to have a physical presence. But I think in today's football, you have to be able to throw the ball at a high level to be successful. And so that's got to be a big part of what we do.
Have you worked with Brian before? I mean, do you know how this is going to work with the two of you guys being co-offensive?
You know what? We've known each other just because of being in the same conference for so long together. And so we've always had a really good relationship. It's been in recruiting. So it's going to be obviously fun moving forward, and the biggest thing is combining ideas so it works for the players. But obviously what Georgia was able to get done for a lot of years offensively, we want to take some of that and again try to find ways to score points.
Given your history with Coach Muschamp, when he called, I mean, was it an automatic yes? Was it just
Absolutely. I think the biggest thing for anybody being hired into a new situation is knowing what that situation entails. I know what day-to-day is with Coach Muschamp. I know how much football I learned. I know how his expectations, his demands, how he treats people, how involved my family can be. I have a 7-year-old and a 3-year-old, and I want to raise them and be around them, and I know they can be a part of it. So this was a very easy decision, and obviously coupled with it being the University of South Carolina, it was a pretty easy decision.
You mentioned the envious of palmetto tree. What stands out about South Carolina? What do you remember from coming here and playing here?
You know what? I think the game day atmosphere really is rivaled by none. I mean, I just think the passion that the fans have. I always thought this was a very, very difficult place to play, and I've been coming here and staying out on Two Notch Road for a long time in the visiting team hotel, and you were just always in awe of how much South Carolina loves its football, and so to be a part of that, it's awesome. And then you got some good places in the state to go visit, Charleston and Myrtle Beach and Hilton Head, and all those places are pretty nice.
Obviously, you spent a year up there in Cleveland with Connor Shaw. Did you talk to him at all about?
Yeah, Connor and I got really close. I think that's what you start looking for in a quarterback. Everybody says, what's the most important attribute in a quarterback to get? And they start talking arm strength and accuracy and size and foot quickness. And what Connor has that very few people have is just pure heart, grit, determination, and competitive fire. And then you can build from that. And I think that's what makes him the quarterback that he is. And to be around a guy like that, it's awesome.
Did he give you kind of tips or advice about coming down here?
You know what he did? I don't know if it was tips or advice as much as it was just, talking about how much he loves this place and how excited he is for, the new staff to get here and get started, because he thinks we're going to really love this place. But I think you find it, the same passion he has on the field, he has for the University of South Carolina in Columbia. So he's just so excited about, just this place in general, that it's just fun to talk to him.
Kurt, did you get a sense this was a difficult year for him? Because I would have think he might have figured into that quarterback mix if he'd been healthy.
Yeah, there's no doubt it's a difficult year because he couldn't play football. He had NFL's a different deal. So his injury cost him the whole season. So just being around and competing to be the quarterback, he wasn't able to do, and that's what drives him. That's who he is to be able to compete. And he's back throwing now, and he's looking good. So that's what he's going to do. He's going to every day push those guys to be the starter.
Does he have a future in the NFL beyond?
Absolutely, he has a future in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's like anywhere else. What I learned about the NFL is right situation, right time. But what he has, again, you can't coach, is when he went on the football field, the ball went down the field towards the end zone, and you can't always explain that, but that's what he does when he goes out there. Absolutely.
Thank you, Coach.
Absolutely.
At the running back position, what kind of skill set do you look for to succeed in your offense?
That's a good question. I think it's always fluid. You got to put the best player out on the football field to make plays, but I think in this league you have to have somebody that is physical enough to withstand the pounding between the tackles a high percentage of his carries. He's got to be able to go run between those guys and bang off people and break tackles. So it's not always just size, but that kind of power and strength. And then I want a guy that can catch the football, that can be used as a wide receiver lined up outside or catching the ball out of the backfield. You want the whole skill set. But to be successful, he's got to be a physical guy.
Have you had much time to look at what you'll have to work with here yet?
Very little yet, because we're so immersed in recruiting right now. That's been the focus. But as we move past that, then we'll put together a plan to evaluate all these guys before we get out on the field for spring practice. But just the conversation that we've had as a staff and offensive staff in general is really, this is a new start for everybody. And so we want them to understand we're excited about them and hope they're excited about us as coaches, and they got a chance to go show us something from the very beginning, from the start for these guys.